Well, Flashback Monday, as we know, has come to an end. But before we let it go completely, I've decided to go back and remember when, or in this case, and the winner is. Welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina, Kristina. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no demons, none of that fancy stuff going on here. And every year, with Romantic Times book reviews, they had award ceremonies, and they gave out awards, several hundred awards, and we won't be covering all of them. Although I may come back later and do a career achievement awards. They did those every year, and it was just too general. And but I may go figure out a way to do that in the future. But they gave out a lot of historical, contemporary romance, paranormal, the suspense, mystery. They gave out a whole bunch of different awards every year, and the largest amount of awards, of course, went to Harlequin. However, being that there's like 200 or 300 Harlequins, we're not going to do those. So we're going to try and do it this way. We're going to start with 2010, and we'll work our way up through 16. Actually, we won't. There's no awards for 16 because the magazine ended in 16. The awards would have been given out in 17. So there is no 16. So we will do 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, and that's it. And then we're going to move forward, I believe, with the future, and we'll finish the rest of 2016 a different way. I was working on the two different ideas, and I couldn't figure out which one to do first, and this one came together first, so I'm just going to do this one, and then we'll go back and do the others. This is going to have a lot of pictures. This is a little something different for me. So, it was 2010 was another great year for readers. So many fabulous books were published. We reviewed more than 250 books in each issue of Romantic Time Book Review. Some of them had close to 300. More than 3,000 titles for the year. Our ace reviewers have scored 12 months worth of reviews to compile the best for RT book reviews for the year. So I'm going to skip career achievement right now. We may come back to that. But our first one was Best Romantic Suspense Novels. Okay? So, I'm going to try this, see how it works. So our first nominee is Deadly Little Secrets by Jeanine Adam. And that says it got 4.5 stars. Deadly Little Secrets, Jeanine Adams was a top pick. Consistent, excellent, clever plots and intriguing characters are propelling Adams to the top of the genre, where she has made an indelible mark thanks to gripping tales of romance, danger, and suspense. Adam wastes no time setting up the heart-stopping action and bringing her characters to life. This is one of the year's best romantic suspense books. After a mission goes horribly wrong, CIA agent Anna Burton is resigned to work on cold cases. Anna's latest involves art fraud, theft, and a murder from 9 years ago. As Anna pulls on the old thread, she meets with Gates Bromley, a security expert and assistant to art collector Dave. Shortly after their meeting to discuss the case, Anna is nearly killed, and Dave's estate comes under attack. Someone is determined to make sure this cold case stays icy. Nominee 1. Nominee number 2, Her Last Chance, Michele Albert. All right. This is March. How did I already screw up? Alright, hold on a second. Her last chance, Michele Albert. 4.5 stars. Albert is back and dishing up plenty of gripping danger and thrills in the 4th installment of her Avalon series. To say these protagonists butt heads would be putting it mildly, as a feisty Avalon operative and a rigid FBI agent gun for each other. This read is full of sassy, sexy, and seriously good fun. When art theft... You want to come up? You want to come up? Don't run away if you want to come up. Are you coming up or not? Yes or no? I should have given myself another table. Come here. Come here. Come here. Fine. Alright, where was I? Her last chance, Michele Albert. 4.5 stars. Albert is back and dishing up plenty of gripping danger and thrills. Installment of her Avalon series. Oh, I did this right. An art theft expert and FBI agent, Vincent DeLuca, sees the world in terms of black and white, whereas Avalon agent Claudia Cruz lives in a world bathed in gray. Once again, Vincent and Claudia find themselves working on the same series of art robberies. The sparks that fly between them are from clashing tempers as well as serious sexual sizzle. However, when Claudia suspects that the thieves may be trying to get Vincent's attention, she gets a bad feeling she can't shake. Meanwhile, Avalon head Ben Sheridan is still working on a decades-old puzzle murder and following the clues that will hopefully lead to the capture of the agency's nemesis, Reinout Van Laird. Would you stop? Are you coming here or what? She keeps coming over, attacking me, and leaving. Alright, our third nominee is Deadly Pursuit by Anne Christopher. Four and a half stars. This is a thrilling taut drama with classic on-the-run adventure. A noble hero, a smart heroine, and a villain with no redeeming social values. There's enough material here for at least one more book, and that's a good thing, as readers will be looking forward to the next installment. DEA agent Jackson Parker has been on the run for so long, and his self-loathing is so deep that he refuses to accept the love he's offered to him by Amara Clark, no matter how tempting she is. Jack has lost so much because of his work and doesn't want Amara to become another casualty. His latest undercover assignment makes him the target of a drug-pinned Kareem Gregory, a sociopath who terrifies anyone who crosses his path. The next nominee is Laura Griffin, Unspeakable. And this one was lucky enough to have a picture. Nope. Oh, the other way. There you go. Unspeakable. 4.5 stars. Readers who've been waiting for a book featuring sexy true crime writer Troy Stockton, your time has come and you won't be disappointed. This is a tight suspense with sexy of heroes and a protagonist seriously worth rooting for. FBI profile Elena McCord is determined to prove herself. Her first case put her in the sights of writer Troy Stockton. Troy's interest in the case of young woman being drugged, murdered, and hidden in the local marshland increases when it's linked to an old case he reported on. When Elena becomes the target of the murderer, Troy thinks his Playboy days may be in the past. The next entry is Elizabeth Lowell. Death Echo. Are you back again? I'm sorry. This one here. A little on the dark side. Mm. 4.5 stars. When it comes to edgy, cynical thrillers and plenty of passionate punch, no one does it better than Lowell. The New York Times bestseller does a stellar job of taking topical events and looming threats and melding them into high-octane thrillers. Former CIA operative Emma Cross hoped she had some left of the danger behind when she took a job with St. Kilda Consulting. Unfortunately, it turns out her new case is about to take an apocalyptic repercussions. St. Kilda is approached by the government, which fears both leaks and interdepartment rivalries. Emma has 7 days to get access to a new yacht called the Blackbird, a boat whose twin, the Black Swan, has disappeared. Former Special Op Mackenzie Durand has returned to his roots as a transport skipper. Mac's instincts tell him something is up when he takes possession of the Blackbird. Emma's best chance of finding the dangerous truth behind the plans for the yacht lie with Mac. But can they get over their instinctive distrust of each other? I bet they end up in bed. And our final entry. Did I just... Wait a second, I just want to see something. Oh, Cindy Gerard. I don't know why I got it mixed up with the other one. Anyways. Alright. Christy Reece. Last Chance. The one in the middle here. Last Chance. And 4.5 stars. A first-rate series gets even better with this heart-pounding conclusion to the second Last Chance Rescue trilogy. This thriller features gut-wrenching emotion, a tender romance, and a psychotic thriller. At the core of this tale is the unlikely love story between a woman running from the past and a man determined to build a future. Smoke! During a business trip, British billionaire Lucas Kane, once a special secret forces operative, is kidnapped and held for ransom. He is rescued by a beautiful young woman who calls herself Ghost. Obsessed and intent on finding his mystery savior, Lucas approaches Noah at the Last Chance Rescue. Not an official Last Chance operative, Mckenna Sloan, aka Ghost, does work for Noah, and she knows that Lucas is hunting her. Due to her horrific past, Mckenna refuses to get close to anyone out of fear that they will become the target of a psychopath who's obsessed with her. However, her heart and Lucas's determination are to set them straight into danger. Come here. Come here. Come on. Come on. Don't you want to know who the winner is? Those were your nominees. Those were your nominees. For Best Suspense, Romantic Suspense, Jayne Adams, Michele Albert, Anne Christopher, Laura Griffith, Jayne Adams' Deadly Little Secrets. It came out in September. Michele Albert, Her Last Chance, came out in March. Anne Christopher, Deadly Pursuits, came out in November. Laura Griffith's Unspeakable came out in July. Elizabeth Lowell, Death Echo, came out in June. And the last one, Christy Reece, Last Chance, came out in May. And and your winner is, for Best Romantic Suspense, Christy Reece, Last Chance. won the award. Okay. There are 4 paranormal romantic suspense nominees. And 0 of these. Alright, so it's going to be a different category. But when I think paranormal, I'm thinking vampire, werewolf, witches, stuff like that. They didn't go that far. They were sticking with strictly romantic suspense with a little paranormalish stuff to it, I guess. Because none of these even remotely qualify in my book as paranormal. But anyway, let's get through these. Your first one is Skin Tight. That one right there. Naked guy on the cover. And Ava Gray, Skin Tight, 4.5 stars. A companion to Skin Game, this story follows 2 people from the previous excellent novel. Gray has crafted a skin-tight suspense tale that will have you up at turning pages. Reading these books in order is recommended. Forensic accountant Maya Sauter is starting her latest investigation disguised as an IT worker. The job takes a twist when she meets the head of human resources, only to discover he's the man she knew in Vegas as a security enforcer. Their last encounter did not end well, and Maya going to give him a big piece of her mind. Soren, known as Mark Strong, is shocked when Maya identifies him. Nobody sees him, only the person they expect to see. It's an ability he acquired against his will from an injection developed by the company he's working for. Soren's been hunting the villain who ruined his life for years and wants his revenge. Maya doesn't fit in his plans, but how can he throw away the one chance he has to connect with someone as himself? If she works with him, he brings her into the danger zone. If he lies to her again, he loses her forever. Next nominee is Fade to Midnight, Shannon Mckenna. And there you go. Wait a minute. That's Edge of Midnight. Well, sorry. Who knew? Like, I just realized that the book is called One. I'm sorry. Apologize for the wrong book. Right, author? Wrong book. You think they could have put the same book in the magazine? We're just going to go with this one. We know we're wrong. Skin Tight, Fade to Midnight. Shannon Mckenna, 4.5 stars. Scorcher. This pulse-pounding suspense tale of the last lost McLeod brother features a touching relationship with searing sex and raw emotions. These 2 misfit characters living on the fringes of society are created special and thrust into an all-out fight on an evil plan so horrific and improbable that normal people can't conceive that it's real. Okay. Disinherited by her wealthy family, Edie Parrish, she ekes out a living drawing graphic novels about scarred and tormented hero who appears in her visions. Cave Lawson was found in an alley, barely alive, after prolonged beating and torture. Not knowing who he was and unable to speak, now 18 years later, Some memories are beginning to surface after brain surgery. As Kev discovers that Edie is somehow tapping into his life, Edie finds that her hero is real. The evil they escaped years ago reaches out to ensnare them again. And I don't see. I'm sorry, I can't believe that was the wrong picture. I am sorry. Oh well. There's one more. Let's see if it's listed on this page. No. Oh well. Alright. So anyways. We're just gonna live with the fact that I got it wrong. Alright, your next two books. Blood Ties by Kay Hooper. Four and a half stars. Hooper darkly riveting blood trilogy comes to a terrifying climax. The forces that have been trying to subvert the paranormal special crimes unit take aim with terrifying precision. Familiar characters from previous novels return as their stories continue to unfold. The chilling intensity of this novel is sure to haunt your dreams. I don't want anything to haunt my dreams. Noah Bishop's unique FBI team, the Special Crimes Unit, is called to a small Tennessee town when a dismembered body is discovered on a running trail. The discovery of another body hidden deep within the woods leads to a sniper attack on agents against Dinah Briscoe and Hollis Templeton. Why display one body and hide the other? Diana Hollis and agents Quentin Hayes and Reese DeMarco begin to suspect a supernatural tie to their previous case involving the now deceased carnation of evil Adam Deacon Samuel. Meanwhile, Noah continues to stalk the man financing the campaign against SCU. As the lethal attacks continue and the bodies accumulate, the SCU team faces its deadliest danger yet. And the last one in this category is Fired Up. Jayne and Krentz. It was a 4.5 stars. The always excellent Krentz takes her arcane novels and starts the Dreamlight trilogy, which will utilize all three of her identities: Jeanine Krentz, Amanda Quick, and Jane Castle. The male descendants of alchemist Winter are destined for genetic mutations. Unless they can break the curse, Krentz fans are always ensured plenty of wit and romance and a helping heap of suspense. Venture capitalist Jack Winters knows time is running out if he's going to find a way to stop the Winters curse. According to legend, his ancestor Nicholas passed down a genetic change that adds additional psychic talents that can lead to a psychotic breakdown. The only hope lies with an artifact known as the Burning Lamp and a woman with the gift to use Dreamlight. Chloe Harper is a high-grade Dreamlight whose talent works as a private investigator. When Jack comes to help her for finding the lamp, she's intrigued, but neither of them realize that the deadly Nightshade organization has ominous plans for both of them. And the winner is... Oh, we have that one. That's one of the ones we have. This one. Skin Tight is the winner. Ava Gray. Okay, this next entry is contemporary romance. Your first nominee is Robyn Carr. Angel's Peak. And it's the small one here. But it's part of a trilogy. Four and a half stars. Strong conflict, humor, and well-written characters are Carr's calling cards, and they're all present here. Sean is to die for, and he's well matched by strong-willed Francie. 4 years ago, Air Force pilot Sean Reedon and flight nurse Francie Duncan broke up when she wanted to get married and settle down, and he didn't. Now a chance meeting brings Sean back into Francie's life, stirring up old emotions and forcing her to tell him why she disappeared after they split. Sean's amazed to learn he was a father, and he decides instantly that he wants to do right by his daughter. Rosie Francie isn't sure she trusts Sean enough to let him back into their life, but Sean's determined to top it off. He wants to be a dad. Your next entree is Jennifer Cruz. Maybe this time. Oh, wait a minute. Let's back up for a second. All right. Chapman, Janet Chapman, Tempt Me If You Can. We'll do that first. And you know, I thought I had this. This could be over there someplace. Tempt Me If You Can. Janet Chapman. Naked guy on the cover. Four and a half stars. The sequel to last year's The Man Must Marry puts the spotlight on Ben Sinclair as he faces the fallout from past events. The secret baby storyline continues to hold power. However, the twist here is there is no baby, but a savvy teenager, hidden secrets, passion, and a dash of danger. An anonymous note sends Ben back to the mountains of Maine to learn he fathered a son 16 years ago. Ben's brief affair ended when Kelly Sand sent him away without telling him she was pregnant. Now Ben learns that Kelly disappeared 10 years ago, and her younger sister Emma has raised Michael fearing his reception, partly because of an unsolved dam explosion all those years ago. Ben registers in Emma's sporting camp under an assumed name. Because of a crush, Emma has never forgotten Ben. Knowing he will be heading off to college soon, Michael wants to make sure his beloved aunt is happy, so he's not adverse to playing matchmaker. Interesting. Alright, now Jennifer Cruz. Maybe this time. Sorry about the page turning. Who knew that turning a page could be so loud? Maybe this time. 4 stars. 4.5 stars. After 6 years without a solo project, Cruz roars back into the scene with a marvelous new tale that includes her patent brand of humor and foibles. Cruz takes lucky readers into a gothic and ghostly adventure set in 1992, filled with offbeat and wacky. Nevertheless, the emotions ring true as his indomitable heroine fights for the children and second chances. 10 years ago, after the divorce, neither Addie Miller nor North Archer has moved on. That may be about to change, but North has one last request. A distant cousin has died, leaving North the guardian of 2 children. Something strange is going on at the remote estate, and 3 nannies have bolted. North figures Andy can straighten things out. Upon her arrival, Andy realizes things are seriously amiss. The children, Alice and Carter, are withdrawn, and the housekeeper a gothic nightmare. Add a ghost-hunting TV reporter and an annoyed medium, and you have a recipe for disaster. Lisa Calrippus. I was gonna get this book, and oh my god, it's on the cover. That is the wrong page. Alright. Lisa Kleypas, Friday Night Harbor. Christmas Eve at Friday Night Harbor, excuse me. Kleypas Can Do No Wrong, 4.5 stars. If you want a fantastic read, pick up this poignant, heartbreaking, and deeply satisfying book. Maggie Collins has lost her husband and vowed never to experience the heartbreak again. She moved to the small town of Friday Harbor, opened a toy store. Then magic happened. Mark Nolan walks through the front door with his niece. Everything Maggie once feared is coming true. She's falling for him and Holly, the beautiful little girl he's caring for. A self-proclaimed bachelor, Mark's life changed forever when his sister died, left him in charge of his niece. Since his mother's death, Holly won't talk until a freckled-faced redhead who believes in magic gets her to open up. Something happens upon him too, and now he cannot get Marlon Collins out of his mind. And it is Christmas. And Christy Ridgway, Crush on You. Picture, Chrissy. 4.5 stars. This is truly romance with nary a serial killer, or vampire in sight. Furthermore, it's set in the Napa Valley with a small town full of good people, a vineyard that needs saving, as a wedding chapel that needs restoring. Alyssa Bassi, the girl who was widowed on a wedding day, has turned into the woman determined to save her family's vineyard. Not only did she promise her late father she did so, she can't imagine leaving her roots, her valley, and the people who have loved and supported her whole life. She has a plan: restore the wedding college and market the wedding wine she makes. It will be a great package and surely bring in enough money to keep things going. She needs a little help from Penn Bennett, the new guy at the vineyard next door. Penn has just discovered he was the secret love of the Bennett vineyard owner. He has built his own life as the host of a TV remodeling show, and while he would love to get involved with Alexandra, he's not so sure about the projects that require his commitment in the valley. He has also doubts about the veracity of the whole the Nun of Napa. Can this scene be real? It sure isn't like LA. He would be shocked to learn that Alexandra has the same doubts about him. See what happens. And the last one is Jodi Thomas. Welcome to Harmony. Four and a half stars. Here's a wonderful novel of 3 interwoven stories, people with characters you deeply care for. Reagan Moore is 16-year-old runaway when she comes to Harmony, Oklahoma. She makes up a name and connection to the town, but keeps her distance from the welcoming townsfolk, despite her quirky charm. But when an arsonist prairie fires threaten all of them, and all of Harmony, the town comes together. And the winner is Christy Ridgway, Crush on You. Now, if I had my way, it would be Lisa Kleypas and Christmas Eve and Friday Night Harbor, or whatever the name of the book is. Christmas Eve at Friday Harbor. That would be my pick for the best one in this group. But they chose Christy Ridgway, Crush on You. Alright. Ouch. The old man came to visit. He's old. I think he's 17, I think. Go on. Get down before she kills you. Alright. Now, vampire romance. The winner of this is not who I would consider the winner of this. There's a lady with more superior writing, and I'm pretty sure you will agree, but let's just go through them all. Alright, the first one is Michele Bardsley. I don't know how this woman got a nomination, but she did. Because there's a whole bunch of other ones here that would be much, much better. But anyway, Crush Your Heart, Michele Bardsley, 4.5 stars. Bardsley gives for humor and passion is a reader's delight. Her newest hero is sexy and irreverent charmer, just what needed to shake up the set in ways. On a visit to check on the old abandoned Silverstone estate, Elizabeth Silverstone Breton was killed and turned into a vampire. Elizabeth now makes her home in Broken Heart. Town members searching the old mansion may have unwittingly released a ghost with a 150-year-old grudge. Fighting off the murderous spirit, Elizabeth is rescued by the all-too-sexy, wear-jagged Tez Jones. Tez is more than happy to lend his skills to help Elizabeth solve the old mystery before it turns too deadly for many of the town's bonded lovers. Alright. There's a Kelsey Crow in here that I would have gone for first. But it's not one of the nominees, so we're just gonna skip it right now. Actually, there's two in here. If I was going to go for something light, I would have went for the Lindsay Sands. If you haven't seen all my Lindsay Sands reviews of the Arginos, please go check those out. Alright. The next one is Jeanine Frost, Eternal Kiss of Darkness. Uh, 4.5 stars. It will take a special heroine to match up with enigmatic master vampire Marchionese, and thankfully the uber-talented Frost has just the woman in mind. After losing his ability to see the future, ancient Egyptian vampire Marchionese assumes his long life will soon end, so he has made Bones the co-ruler of his land. Marchionese's nemesis, Edge, is closing in and a final showdown looms. But all of the Marchionese plans are blown out of the water when he is rescued from the pack of ghouls by Chicago PI Kira. Although she knows she's outmatched, Kira cannot abandon the man being tortured by the game. Kira's act of bravery and kindness thrust her into a dark and dangerous world she never dreamed existed. For the time in centuries, Marchionese is fascinated by a woman. The mutual fascination could be a death sentence for both of them. Alright. And the next nominee is Linda Howard, Bloodborne. Alright, up here at top in the white, Bloodborne. Naked guy on the cover. Two outstanding talents combine forces to produce a terrific launch book for their hot new supernatural series. These authors' talents mesh extremely well, delivering a book that is fast-paced yet supports the introduction of... Hold on a second. Casanova. No eating plants. Sorry. He was eating a plant. We don't eat plants. We get sick from plants. Alright, two outstanding talents combine forces to produce a terrific launch book for their new hot supernatural series. These authors' talents mesh extremely well, delivering a book that is fast-paced yet supports the introduction of a number of intriguing characters. Chloe Fallon has no idea the strange recurring dream she is having is actually a warrior from another dimension. trying to contact her. Chloe's bloodline means she is a conduit who can bring the warrior of her blood back to Earth to stop a vampire plot. Luca is an ancient and rare blood-born vampire who has worked as an enforcer for the Vampire Council. A loner for the strange ability to make humans and most vampires forget him. Luca is disturbed by a call from his friend Hector, who has discovered a rebel vampire plot to kill all conduits. When Luca saves Chloe, he discovers that for some reason she can remember him. What? What's the matter? What? Alright. There. And Devoured by Darkness. Alexandra Ivy. 4.5 stars. More clues to an approaching darkness are revealed in the newest installment of Ivy's long-running, consistently excellent Guardian of Eternity series. As Sharon, our rogue vampire executioner, Tane is none too popular with his fellow vampires. His most recent assignment has been tracking a half-djinn, half-human named Layla, who has part of the recipient werewolf debacle. According to the Supernatural Commission, half-djinns are abomination and not allowed to live. But feisty Layla is not going down so easily. Cold-hearted Tane suddenly finds his emotions unexpectedly thawing. But is their passion doomed? Have to find out. What's the matter there, ma'am? Alright. If you have not watched my Black Dagger Brotherhood series, I started with Darius. We did Dark Lover, Lover Eternal, all of them. Please go back and read them. Watch all my videos and read them. And then after you've done all the call, we will get to the next generation next year. But after that, if you have the few dollars to spend, watch Passion Flicks. Otherwise, just read the books. And watch my videos. Those are free. And hit the like and subscribe, please. I keep forgetting to ask. Please. Now, this is the book that, to me, is the hands-down winner. Spoiler alert, it didn't win. To me, it's the winner. And I don't know how it didn't win. These people got rocks in their heads. Lover Mine! 4.5 stars. From the start, Black Dagger Brotherhood fans have been breathlessly awaiting the new destiny of reincarnation of John Matthew to be revealed. It hasn't yet. Mega Talented Ward doesn't do easy relationships, as evidenced by several ongoing threads that continue to be explored. Life has kicked John Matthew in the teeth on numerous occasions, but the abduction of a half-vampire, half-synthetic Zex has nearly destroyed him. John's bitter enemy, Lash, has Zex imprisoned as his personal sex toy. Finding Zex and taking revenge on Lash are all that drives a tormented John. Zex's own past has kept her from trusting or accepting love. Can John change her mind? Critical events from the distant past are explored in flashbacks, leading to a stunning revelation. But not all of it, but some of it. Oops, and I just dropped my magazine. And the winner... What did I do with it? The winner is Eternal Kiss of Darkness by Jeanne Frost. If I had my way, it would be this one. But this is the winner. This is your winner for the vampire romance. And for the record, none of these would have made my top pick for vampire romance. None. Or paranormal romance. We just did vampire. Now we're moving on to paranormal romance. and none of these would have made my top pick. And this video is going to take about 3 days to upload. Especially with all the pictures. The first book up is Ilona Andrews' The Bayou. The Bayou Moon. 4.5 stars. Mega talent Andrews returns to the world of Edge where magic, blood, feuds, and danger await. The Adrigolian Secret Service approaches Changeling William Sandine with a request. They want William to stop his old nemesis Spider, the head of the Louisiana Twisted Spy Network. Spider is a devastating weapon that could lead to war. Cerise Moore becomes the reluctant head of her clan when her parents are abducted by Spider. The Moores are boiled by a deadly feud, so to save their property, Cerise visits the Broken. On the way back to the swampy mire, Cerise runs into William, who quickly realizes that Cerise and her family are the keys to stopping the Spider. Book 2, Melusine Brooke, The Iron Duke, a steampunk. Here, we'll do one of these, but I've got to pick 2. The Iron Duke, 4.5 stars. The inventive and talented Brooke kicks off her Iron series based on her steampunk-inspired world first introduced in the anthology Burning Up. After blowing up the Horde's controlling tower in England, former Prioress Rice Tarine became a national hero and subsequently made the Iron Duke. He now runs a merchant empire and his reputation inspires fears and respect. Detective Inspector Mina Wentworth is very good at her job, but the fact that she is half Horde makes her a target for all kinds of abuse. When a body is dumped from an airship onto the Iron Duke's doorstep, Mina must solve the case. The identity of the murder victim soon sets Mia and Reyes on a perilous adventure to stop a conspiracy that endangers the lives of much of England's population. Alright. Book 3. Shannon K. Butcher, Living Nightmare. Four and a half stars. In the latest chapter of Butcher's Sentinel Wars, 2 extremely damaged individuals face danger of the body and heart. As a child, Nika Madison survived an attack by Sinstrastrium, but was left mentally damaged and dying. Nika has recovered in parts thanks to Theana warrior Madak. However, that doesn't mean that anyone believes her claim that her presumed dead younger sister Tori is still alive and in the hands of the Sinstrastrium. Determined to prove her claim, Nika charts a dangerous course that will place her in the path of Asagas. Madak continues to fight his intense attraction to damaged Nika, but it does not appear that she is compatible mate and is so nearly gone. Nika, however, refuses to accept that judgment and will fight against all odds to save them. Alright. Christine Feehan, Waterbound. 4.5 stars. The always brilliant Feehan launches an offshoot series from her recently completed Drake Sister saga. In Sea Haven stories, elements of nature will be a key focus along with exciting combination of mystery, danger, and magic. While diving for sea urchins, Ricky is hit by a rogue wave and discovers a man deep in the swirling currents. Ricky rescues the wounded man who has large gaps in his memory. The one thing Liv knows is that he must not be discovered alive. A reluctant Kiki takes Levi to the property she shares with her 5 sisters of the harp. All of her life, Ricky has an affinity for water and fears fire. From its devastation has left a tragic imprint on her life. Both are struck by menace from their past. Can they find a way to triumph? And Laura Lee, Lion Teach. And Laura Lee, Lion Teach. I will ever forget giving this series away. I had some of it. It was taking me forever to collect them all, and I gave up, and I shouldn't have given up because these are very, very hard to find. Alright. We'll do it this way. 4.5 stars. Mega talent Lee finally delivers what Breed fans have been breathlessly anticipating. Jonas Wyatt gets his romantic comeuppance. Because of his dark past and his genetic heritage, Jonah has resisted claiming his mate, his assistant Rachel Rowan. When Rachel started working for Jonah, she was pregnant. Now her baby Amber is just months old. To Rachel's horror, Philip Brandmore tries to kidnap Amber. He doesn't succeed, but he does inject the baby with an unknown substance. Janice is engaged and on the warpath, for he considers Amber his own. Further attempts to get Amber force Rachel into the Breed Sanctuary. It also brings them the mating heat to full boil. And our last nominee is Neela Singh, Bonds of Justice. Uh, 4.5 stars. Singh brilliantly edges her psych-changing world to global upheaval. Not only are fans treated to a fast-paced and intriguing who done it, but a key secondary character is explored in depth. New York enforcer detective Max Shannon is sent to San Francisco by counselor Nikki Duncan, though human Max has mental shields that prevent the psych from influencing him. Nikki suspects that the deaths of several of her high-level employees are in fact murder. Assisting Max is Sophia Russo, a side designate who extracts memories from individuals. Regrettably, the lifespan of a J designate can be a short. For over time, their telepathic shields fail. And the winner is Magdalene Brooke, the Iron Duke. I wouldn't have nominated any of these, but that's what they nominated. Leanna Andrews, The Bayou Moon, Magdalene Brooke, The Iron Duke, Shannon Butcher, Living Nightmare, Christine Feehan, Waterbound, Laura Lee, Lion's Heat, and Nellie Singh, Bonds of Justice. And the winner was Magdalene Brooke, The Iron Duke. Okay, I thought I really shortened this down. I didn't. I may have to shorten this down even more. Okay, so in historical mysteries, the first one is Royal Blood, Rice Bowen. Royal Blood, Rice Bowen. 4.5 stars. As always, the delightful Lady Georgiana Rennock is on the loose and getting into much more trouble than a person of her station should. Fortunately, she can at least claim an assignment from the Queen, even if those requests often don't take her penniless status into consideration. Lady Georgiana accepts an invitation from the Queen to represent the royal family at a wedding in Transylvania. When she stumbles across a corpse, she has to ascertain if the dead man was the intended victim or if someone else was supposed to die. To complicate things further, there's a matter of a shadowy figure who keeps appearing in the guest rooms. In the meantime, she's trying to turn a Cockney cleaning woman into a proper lady's maid and evading a conscription into an engagement to a bisexual prince. We are definitely going to read this series at some point. Deanna Raybourn. I don't know where my head is now. Darlene Raybourn, Road to Darjeeling. 4.5 stars. The fourth book in the Lady Julia Gray series is witty, funny, and moving as earlier stories. Readers will fall into another world with romance, danger, and excitement. Lady Julia Gray is on her honeymoon with Nicholas Brisbane, a private inquiry agent, when her sister and brother ask them to come to India to help a friend of the family, a recently widowed pregnant woman. If she has a son, she and the child will inherit this tea plantation and all the wealth. Julia is suspicious the death was murder, and both her and her friend and the child are in danger from her husband's family. Stanley Kelly, City of Dragons. I have seen this book. There we go. I know I saw it someplace. I'll put a picture up too, if I remember. 4.5 stars. In this terrific book, Stanley puts all the right elements together to make the first in a new series a winning. Center stage is private investigator Miranda Colby, a feisty gal with tons of attitude. She might be hard-boiled on the outside, but you never forget she's a lady. Nor the atmosphere of the 1940s San Francisco is so brilliantly recreated, just where you can hear the music, taste the food, and feel the desperation of the many that Miranda comes in contact with. While San Francisco Chinatown is celebrating the Chinese New Year in 1940 with a Rice Bowl party, a 3-day-and-night carnival to raise money and support for China and the war relief, Miranda Corby, a 33-year-old PI, Spanish Civil War nurse and escort, just hopes to make it home safely. Instead, she stumbles upon the fatally shot body of Eddie. The Chamber of Commerce wants the murder covered up, and the police give it a bit too easily for Miranda's taste. She wants to solve the crime and see that justice is served, no matter what the cost. An impartial witness, Charles Todd. 4.5 stars. Although the use of coincidence is a murder mystery is generally frowned upon, Todd takes one giant coincidence and builds a plot around it to great effect. The second book in the Bess Crawford series places this mother-son duo at the top of their plotting game with intricate twists and plenty of viable suspects. World War I battlefield nurse Bess Crawford inadvertently becomes caught up in the murder of a patient's wife when she witnesses the emotional goodbye to a man who is not her husband. After the victim's pilot husband commits suicide, Bess feels the crime has become personal and goes searching for answers. When another wounded soldier is arrested after a witness's attack, Beth realizes she is up against a very cunning killer. And the last one in the historical mystery department is The Demon's Parchment. Jerry Westerson. 4.5 stars. This superb series isn't kidding when it describes itself as medieval noir. The historical details and settings are accurate, which in this book means grim. At least in part, the hero holds the attitudes of his time, which make him an unpleasant as well as a tortured character. When Crispin gets convinced of treason, he's instantly lost his standing, his estate, his money, and his friends. Now he lives in the most wretched slums. He's often drunk and solves mysteries. When a Jewish doctor living at the court approaches him to find his missing parchment, he hesitates because both of his feelings about Jews who were expelled from England a century before, and because he's forbidden to enter the court. Let's see what happens there. And the winner of the historical mystery genre, and I agree with this one, is Royal Blood, Rice Bowen. Shall we move on to suspense thrillers? Alright, suspense thrillers. Our first one is Beverly Connor. One Less Grave. Why is it not? It's not. The other one's pictured twice. I don't know why they did that, but anyway. One Less Grave, Beverly Connor, 4.5 stars, top pick. Connor has always been an amazingly gifted author, but she really outdoes herself with the latest chapter in Diane Fallon's series. Dual stories tracks are expertly woven together to form a tale that is both spine-tingling and treacherous. By shaking up a major premise of the series, Connor heightens the emotional stakes and takes her readers on a puzzling and extremely hazardous adventure. Late one night at the museum, Diane discovers two wounded individuals, one of whom she realizes is an old friend from her days as a human rights activist. Before collapsing into the coma, the woman clutching a child femur whispers, "It's one of us." Shortly thereafter, Diane finds herself under attack from various quarters as her identity is hijacked and she is accused of murder in Brazil. Diane, her team, and her new fiancé Frank all scramble to make sense of the attacks and discover who wants to destroy Diane and why. The reason will rock her to the core. Book 2. Lisa Gardner, 1 Live to Tell. Live to Tell, top pick, 4.5 stars. The lives of 3 women collide in Gardner's amazingly chilling new story. Told in third person and first person perspective, the devastating, sometimes tragic consequences of child mental illness are the backdrop for the electrifying tale of murder and family secrets. Boston police detective D.D. Warren is called to the scene of what looks to appear to be a murder-suicide. However, the evidence calls that the theory into question and leads to the pediatric psychiatric ward where nurse Delia Barton works. As the sole survivor of her own family's murder by her father, Danielle has her own ghost to confront. When a second family is murdered, D.D. finds the trail leads back to the psych ward and a horrified Danielle, as her mother Victoria Oliver would do anything to protect her family's disturbed young son. Broken. Karen Slaughter, 4.5 stars. Slaughter's reputation for dark and compelling tales of criminal investigation, personal tragedy is well deserved in the newest Grant County story. A first-class, perfectly paced mystery shadowed with dark emotion and laden with guilt and corruption. Special Agent Will Trent arrives in Grant County to investigate the death of a prisoner, only to find the local PD isn't cooperating. He knows Officer Lena Anderson is hiding something, and that it goes beyond her role in the death of the police chief Jeffrey Tolliver. He also got his hands full handling the chief's widow, Dr. Sarah Linton, who's not only in the middle of an investigation but also still carrying a grudge against Lena, who also in love with Tolliver. Okay, and I just ordered that for something. So I did. They're watching. 4.5 stars. Wow, that single word sums up this outstanding thriller about a normal guy pitched in extraordinary circumstances. You won't be able to stop reading. This is so well written. You'll feel Patrick's and no doubt wonder if he could happen to any of us. Patrick's life has derailed. An English teacher turned screenwriter. His service to production company he was working for was terminated, and now he's teaching again. His relationship with his wife is on the rocks when DVD falls out of his paper one morning. He discovers it's a video of him brushing his teeth in his own bathroom. Taken from outside looking in, there's no message with the DVD, no indication of why he's being watched. Soon more DVDs arrive. Ooh, how spooky. And with all that hype, the last book 8 Days to Live, Miss Johansson. 4.5 stars. John McGuire is back in the spotlight at the target of a lethal cult. That plus the return of other familiar characters, including one with supernatural twists, instantly invests readers into the tumultuous timeline. A painting inspired by a series of dreams makes artist Jayne McGuire, Eve Duncan's adopted daughter, the target of an ancient and deadly cult. In 8 days, June will be sacrificed. In the meantime, her friends and family are eliminated. Members of the cult also believe that Jayne can lead them to a priceless historical treasure. Horrified by the murder of her friends, Jayne feels compelled to reach out to mysterious and psychically deadly Seth Caleb to stop these fiends. When she tries to keep Eve and Joe Quinn safe, former assassin Jack Gavin insists on accompanying her on the hazardous treasure hunt. And the winner, the suspense thriller, Beverly Connor, One Less Grave, Lisa Gardner, Liv Chichel, Greg Horowitz, They're Watching, Iris Johansson, 8 Days to Live, Karen Slaughter, Broken, and the winner is Beverly Connor, One Less Grave. I would not have chosen that, but that's what they chose. Alright, on to Amateur Sleuth. Alright, Amateur Sleuth. We have 5 nominees. The first nominee is Rita Mae Brown. A Nose for Justice. 4.5 stars. Fans of Brown's books, written with her cat Sneaky Pie, will fall in love with this new series set in Reno. Dog lovers in particular will continue the canine sleuth. The series promises to be a little edgier than the Sneaky Pie tales, but cozy fans won't be disappointed. Former stockbroker Megs Reeves finds herself out of work and moving with her Dashawn Baxter to Reno to live with her great aunt Jeep. Jeep was a wasp in World War II and is still as tough as nails. But Baxter and King, Aunt Jeep's German Shepherd mix discover a body in the barn. They don't realize there will be more corpses to discover in the days to follow. Let's see what happens there. This one. Carol Nelson, Cat in the Ultramarine. 74. Cat in an Ultramarine Scheme. Carol Nelson Douglas, 4.5 stars. Some long-running mystery series become stale and predictable after 15 installments. Nelson's 21st Midnight Louise tale is just as twisty, riveting, and intriguing as the first one. When Temple's bar fiancé, ex-priest Matt, arrives for a business trip to Chicago, the plucky PR expert has her hands full promoting the idea of a museum devoted to organized crime under her developed Crystal Phoenix Hotel. One open monster vault and a murdered magician later, Temple must rely on Midnight Louie and his relatives Cat Pack to help solve the mystery. Bon appetit. Carolyn Haynes. We have done the shoot. Sorry. The Sarah Booth Delaney series on this channel, so please go check out those videos. 4.5 stars. Although thoroughly entertaining installment Sarah Booth Delaney series, the plot is solid, the killer's motives is believable, yet a complete supply. The red herrings are convinced, and in the end, a delightful thrilling. Sarah Booth is still recovering from a miscarriage when her friend and business partner Tinky signs both of them up for vacation. Tinky doesn't know that her hotel is hosting a beauty pageant, but her friend Cece is thrilled to get Tinky's candid photos of the contestants from the newspaper. When someone starts poisoning the top contendants, Sarah Booth and Tinky are on the case. And The Quick and the Thread. Amanda Lee. We did a knitting thing back in June. Go check those out. The Quick and the Thread. Amanda Lee, 4.5 stars. If her debut here is any indication, Lee's new series is going to be fun, spunky, and educational. In the small town of Tallulah Falls, Oregon, the opening of Marcy Singer's specialty shop 7-Yard Stitch is only marred by the appearance of the previous tenant, who is quite drunk and demanding to speak to Marcy alone. The next morning, she opens the shop and she finds said tenant dead in the storeroom. A message scratched with tapestry needle in the wall near his body. Suddenly, her cozy little shop has become a crime scene, and she's not sure if the investigation detective thinks she's a suspect or a potential date. We'll have to see about that. And our final book, Ghouls Gone Wild. I do not know how this ended up in their amateur mystery situation. I think of this lady as a vampire author. A silly vampire author, but I still think of her that way. Ghouls Gone Wild, Victoria Laurie, 4.5 stars. A new world medium meets old world ghosts in Laurie's latest, a chilling good tale. MJ Holiday and the gang are up against a dangerous curse that threatens Gilly Gillespie. Seeing events through MJ's eyes takes readers into a sometimes eerie world where the other side is inescapable. For the first installment of their new reality TV series, Ghoul Getters, MJ Gilly and medium Heath White Feather travel to Scotland to a small village of Queen's Close, said to be both haunted and cursed. The discoveries of a victim who apparently died in fight in the cave set off warning signs for the legend in that every 100 years, the murdered witch Regella and her sisters return for vengeance against the bloodlines that killed them. And the nominees are Rita Mae Brown, A Nose for Justice, Carol Nelson Douglas, A Cat in an Ultimarium Sheen, Carolyn Haynes, Bon Appetit, and Victoria Laurie, Ghouls Gone Wild, and Amanda Lee, The Quick and the Thread. And the winner is Bon Appetit! And I agree with this one. Historical romance. Your nominees are Connie Brockaway, The Golden Season, Liz Carlisle, One Touch of Scandal, Olivia Drake, Never Trust a Rogue, Eileen Dreyer, Barely a Lady, and Brenda Joyce, The Promise. The first one is Connie Brockaway, The Golden Season. 4.5 stars. Consummate storyteller Brockaway infuses a classic plot with smart writing, sharp dialogue, and clever characters. After learning that her enormous fortune is gone, Lady Lydia Eastlake is determined to savor one last golden season before she weds a wealthy man. The celebrity beauty, she should have had trouble finding a suitable groom. Captain Ned Lockton returns to England, a war hero. Few know that the nobleman is in search of a wealthy bride to save his family. Cold-headed Ned is fascinated with Lydia, and if their Catch Me If You Can game sparkles with passion and witty repartee. But when the truth revealed, are they going to forsake each other or what? See what happens there. Okay. Liz Carlisle, One Touch of Scandal. 4.5 stars. Carlisle Fortress, passion and intrigue. Massive will become to the foray if she portrays Victoria era with high society as a backdrop. To escape her father's family, Grace Gauthier takes a position as a governess in the wealthy businessman's home. When she finds him dead, Scotland Yard considers her a prime suspect and escorts her to London. Grace searches for a family friend for help at his home, the St. James Society. He is out of town, but she tries to explain her visit to Lord Ruthven and faints from lack of food and exhaustion. Over the next few days, Ruthven uses his access to the Queen to determine that Grace is being framed. At the same time, there are tremendous mental, emotional, and physical sparks between the two of them. See what happens there. Never trust a rogue. Olivia Drake. Down here in blue. That's a bus or a car. That doesn't look like it should belong in historical, but anyway. Yep, there's one there too. It's a vehicle. So what the hell is it doing in historical? Drake, aka Barbara Dawson, is a consummate storyteller who cleverly blends intrigue, suspense, and sensuality into a pulse-pounding mystery. Wealthy heiress Miss Lindsay Crumpton finds sleuthing much more interesting than balls until an investigation has her colliding with Thane Parker, Earl of Mansfield. His reputation as a war hero and wake precede him, but Thane has a secret life working with the Bow Street Runners. At the moment, he is gathering information on a killer who is one of Lindsay's suitors. Thane's problem is keeping his distance from the far too curious Miss Compton. However, when Lindsay sneaks into Thane's home to discover if he is involved in a murder spree, Thane blackmails her into silence by demanding she poses his fiancée and ease his young ward into society. Eileen Dreyer, barely a lady. Go. Four and a half stars. Renowned contemporary author Dreyer makes the leap to historical romance with an emotionally powerful story that utilizes the fascinating backdrop of Waterloo. The first in Drake's Rakes book. Olivia Grace has lived on the edge of society since her scandalous divorce. An unobtrusive companion, she hides her identity while her employer visits Brussels on the eve of Waterloo. After the battle, Olivia is searching for the front lines for the wounded when she comes across her ex-husband, Jack, Duke of Gracechurch. Worse, he is unconscious and wearing an enemy uniform. When Jack awakens, he has no memory of the last 5 years. He believes they're still happily married. Can she convince him of that? And Brenda Choice. The Promise. I just lost my page. The Promise. 4.5 stars. Longtime Joyce fans know to expect the unexpected, and this multi-talented author will often pay homage to the genre by creating in her own style a classic romance. The traditional theme of second chance at love. Captain Alexi G. Warren is happy to return to Ireland to see his childhood companion, Elsie O'Neill. Alex has always been her champion, but when he appears to pay her little attention, Elsie begins flirting with Axie's shipmate. What begins as an innocent flirtation ends in death. To save her reputation, Alexi marries Elsie and then sets sail. Over the next 6 years, Elsie lives an seemingly carefree life, but yearns for Alexi and plans for the day when he returns. No one knows their marriage is an unconsummated sham. Thus, when he does return, Elsie vows to make there a true marriage. Okay, so your nominees were, shoot, I lost my space. Connie Brockaway, The Golden Season. Liz Carlisle, One Touch of Scandal. Olivia Drake, Never Trust a Rogue. Eileen Dreyer, Barely a Lady. And Brenda Joyce, The Promise. Oh, I forgot one. Lorraine Heath, Passions of a Wicked Earl. Four and a half stars. Like Cream, Heath continues to top the creating wall, touching, highly romantic, unforgettable series that readers adore. Morgan Lyons, the Earl of Westcliff, cannot forgive his 17-year-old bride for seeking solace in his brother's arms on their wedding night. He exiles her to a state and proceeds to bed every woman in London. Claire was a frightened child when she wed and turned to her best friend for comfort. She stays in the country for 3 years, rebuilding Westcliff's estate, but when her sister needs a season to find her husband, she swallows her bride and asks for Westcliff's help. Now a woman, she wants her husband. Westcliff has a mistress he wishes to wed, but his wife is making tentative steps towards reconciliation. What will happen? And the winner was Eileen Dreyer, Barely a Lady. I do not agree with that. I would have probably gone with the Brenda Joyce or the Liz Carlisle being my authors. But that is that. Alright. Oh. Wait a second. I really screwed up. I realized I really screwed up, and I apologize for that. There were more entries in this category than I originally thought. I know I've already announced the winner, but these nominations deserve to be seen, and I believe they observed to be winners more than the winner was. But anyway, Love in the Afternoon, Lisa Kleypas, 4.5 stars. Readers have fallen in love with the Hathaways, eagerly anticipating an animal-loving Beatrix story. One of the things keeping Captain Christopher Felon alive in the Crimea are the letters he receives from blonde beauty Prudence Mercer. When Prue mentions Christopher's letter about the regimental dog, Albert, Beatrix does the unspeakable. She offers to write to him using Prue's name. His letters touch her, and her correspondence leads to her falling hopelessly in love. When Christopher returns, he is wounded in body and soul, seeking peace and in love with the woman who wrote Find Me. Believing it's Prudence, he ignores Beatrix, but it soon becomes obvious that Prue is too empty-headed to be the author's writer. If you have seen any of my videos on the Bridgertons and the Mallorys, you know that I talk about this lady all the time, and she's one of my favorite authors. Again, I would have chosen her as a winner over the other lady any day, anytime, anywhere. And I'm sorry I did these out of order. Sorry. That Perfect Someone, Joanna Lindsay, 4.5 stars. The Mallorys are the family everyone wishes they had, so returning to their world is like entertaining bit of heaven. The first set of Mallorys, I did it Mallorys versus Bridgertons, and we waited a really, really long time for Joanna to kind of continue the series before she died. And this is one of the continuous ones. Betrothed as a child to the dominating Earl of Mansford's son, heiress Julia Miller has found a way to break the marriage contract. She attends Georgina's birthday ball, hoping to find that perfect someone. 9 years ago, Richard Allen fled England and on an unwanted marriage for the Caribbean, where he joined a treasure-hunting pirate crew. When he and his friends return to England, he hopes to catch a glimpse of the woman he hopelessly infatuated with, Georgina Mallory. To save himself from James Mallory's wrath, he kisses the first woman he meets, Julia. The kiss seals their fate. Julia pursues her perfect someone from London to the country until she discovers his identity. And like I said, any one of these win over the winner. And the last one, I don't know why I missed these. Sorry. They all deserve more than 9 rules to break when romancing a rake. Sarah McLean. 4.5 stars. At 28, Lady Caprina Hart is dissatisfied with her staid life. She craves adventure and she wants it now. So she creates a list of 9 things a proper lady should never do and enlists Gabriel St. John, the Marquis of Ralston, to help her. Ralston agrees with a caveat. If she launches his sister into society, he'll help her experience life, to drink in a tavern, fence in a men's club, and live on the wild side. This is all goes well and good until they fall in love. So, one more time before I screwed up here. Your nominees for historical romance were Connie Brockaway, The Golden Season, Liz Carlisle, A One Touch of Scandal, Olivia Drake, Never Trust a Rogue, Eileen Dreyer, Barely a Lady, Brenda Joyce, The Promise, Lorraine Heath, Passions of a Wicked Earl, Lisa Kleypas, Love in the Afternoon, Joanna Lindsay, That Perfect Someone, and Sarah McLean, 9 Rules to Break. If I'd had my choice, I would have done either Lisa Kleypas or Joanna Lindsay, That Perfect Someone, as my best winner. But like I said before, and I'm sorry, I screwed this up, was Elaine Dreyer, Barely a Lady. She was the announced winner. Okay, I am definitely going to make this smaller next week. There's just way too many. I should have done a little more variety. So we have 3 left. This is the British Isles set historical romance. So we have my gal pal here. My co-host is asleep over there. She moved during intermission. The Secret Duke. 4.5 stars. Known for her marvelous storytelling, Beverly sets the finale of her rakish trilogy in Georgian England. Amongst dangers, secrets, and retribution, she places her protagonist into the era. 4 years ago, Bella Barstow was abducted and feared for her virtue. She was saved by the roguish Captain Rose, master of the Black Swan. But she fled, not knowing that Captain Rose was a cover for the powerful Duke of Eythorne. Now living in London, she copies letters for a scandal sheet. When she uncovers the truth behind her kidnapping and vows revenge, she turns to the one person who can have her, the Captain. Now, this, I don't know how this got nominated. I really don't, because I think it was one of the not so good things she did. And I was so glad that she went to, back to her FBI series. But I do like the Sherbrooks. I do like the Sherbrooks a lot. And she is going back to, she's been doing those Tyson series for a very long time. I wish she would do a Sherbrooke or something. And she said no, she's not going to. She has no plans to. But I was kind of hoping she would revisit the Sherbrooks, but she's not. The Valcourt Heiress, 4.5 stars. 1278 England. Coulter is multi-talented author who moves from traditional romance to modern-day thrillers at ease. After decades, she returns to the Middle Ages with a sprightly tale that showcases her hallmark sense of humor. Upon the death of his brother, Arthur, King Edward's man Garin of Christie returns to Wareham Castle as the new earl. He finds the soldiers gone and the most of the servants have fled since the black demon descended upon the castle searching for cache of silver and coins. Arthur supposedly hid in the keep. Among the remaining servants is Mary, the priest by blood. Mary is not only a skilled healer, she is able to read, write, and cipher. She is a perfect match for Garin, but she has secrets that threaten him and Wareham. Even falling in love cannot prevent their problems, especially when the king's chancellor arrives to help investigate the black demon's savage attack and the truth behind the silver. Hi. Ups. The season of seduction, Jennifer Haymore. The one on the end there, the season of seduction. Ah, 4.5 stars. Haymore uses the Christmas season as an enhancing backdrop for a mystery romance that is both original and fulfilling. Lady Rebecca believes it's time to leave widowhood behind and take a lover, but it must be a man as uninterested as married as she. A man like Jack Fallon, an adventuring rogue. Jack unusually wants a simple affair, but that is satisfying to him and his partner. But suddenly Jack's past rears his head, and he must marry a wealthy woman by Christmas or be exposed as a killer. Rebecca is ideal. She's beautiful, sensual, and rich. He adeptly woos Rebecca, whisking her away from a remarkable idol, and she agrees to marry him, but as Jack's secrets come to light, he must choose between love and ruin. Okay. Judith James, Libertine's Kiss. Judith James, Libertine's Kiss. Four and a half stars. James' unusual love story is one of emotional impact. While set against a historical backdrop full of tumult and betrayal, her complex characters are both emotional and sensually ravaged. William de Vere's and Elizabeth Walters were childhood friends separated because of their father's greed. William has sent to school, then joined the military. Elizabeth was forced to marry an abusive man. Years later, they encounter one another under dangerous circumstances, but neither acts as if they recognize each other. 2 years later, when Elizabeth is trying to see the king, William uses his position as the king's bard to secure her an appointment. Once they acknowledge their feelings for each other, Elizabeth must reconcile William's behavior in the intervening years when he was in the king's personal service. They must also deal with the political intrigue of the court and the viciously greedy and jealous attendees. Okay, and right. Night of Passion. There we go. Naked guy on the cover. Ah, 4.5 stars. As in the previous book in all her King's Men series, Molly brings history to life, creating dramatic and gut-wrenching stories. Lady Lynette has long loved Sir James Raeburn, a Kingsman. When her father was taken advantage of by his friends, she and her twin brother became orphaned, homeless, and starving. Jamie was hopelessly in love with Lynette and asked for her hand in marriage, but Lynette sacrificed his love for the opportunity to enact a vengeance on those who betrayed her family. 5 years later, Jamie is returning to England and thinking of finding a wife. He no sooner steps into the crowds of London than he must rescue Lynette and rekindle their passion. Love should come first. When marrying a scoundrel. I gotta stop writing in these books. I don't like it. The blue one. When marrying a scoundrel. Naked guy on the cover. Catherine Smith, 4.5 stars. Rekindled passion is the theme of Smith's delectable tale. Why is fortune teller Sadie Moon suddenly seeing her long lost husband Jack Farrington in the tea leaves? She's worked hard to build a new life since his abandonment. Then wealthy Jack Friday walks in and she's a young girl in love with a scoundrel all over again. Jack believes Sadie left him and he has too built a life. Oh, so it's going to be a misunderstanding situation, huh? Though they are determined to pretend they know nothing of each other, Jack is the landlord of the shop Sadie wished to rent. Fate plays games with their hearts as they rediscover one another and the truth behind what drove them apart. So, the nominees for British Isles set historical romance was Joe Beverley, The Secret Duke, Catherine Coulter, The Valcourt Heiress, Jennifer Haymore, The Season of Seduction, Judith James, Libertine Kiss, Margaret Mallory, Night of Passion, and Catherine Smith, When Marrying a Scoundrel. And When Marrying a Scoundrel is the winner. All right. Okay. Regency romance. Regency set historical romance. The first nominee is Mary Blaylow, A Secret Affair. The 4.5 stars. The Huxtables, that scandalous, delicious family, return as the black sheep finds a woman more notorious than he. Constantine Huxtable, the family's illegitimate cousin, is notorious for his devilish, hedonistic behavior. At 19, Hannah Rita Commodore married the elder Duke of Dunbar. Society believed the rumors of her numerous secret affairs, and nothing she can do can shock them or would it. When she's widowed at 30, she is free to take a lover and chooses Constantine. However, what each believes about the other is about to change as they discover the truth. Entry number 2. One Dance with the Duke, Tessa Dare. One Dance with the Duke. Four and a half stars. Dare's first book in the Stud Club trilogy enhances her reputation for great stories, three-dimensional characters, and passion and poignancy. Spencer Dominique, 4th Duke of Marlin, always arrives at a ball at midnight, chooses one young lady for a waltz, and leaves. Lady Amelia D'Orsay impetuously tries her luck and wins a dance, but she is concerned when he appears ill. Suddenly he carries her from the ballroom. Her concern for his health resonates with Spencer, and he falls deeply in love with her. Spencer proposes to Amelia, but he is a mystery to her, and she wants answers. Spencer belongs to the Stud Club, a group of men who gamble on winning a thoroughbred. The man who holds 10 tokens claims the horse. Spencer has 4. One member of the club has already been murdered for his token. Amelia suggests they hold a party where Spencer might win tokens and unmask a killer. But complications arrive when Amelia's wastrel brother Jack arrives with the missing token and the disappearance of Spencer's ward. Sounds interesting. Charming the Devil, Lois Greiman. There. Everybody's got their clothes off now. Charming the Devil, lowest Greiman, 4.5 stars. Just with the right amount of tendencies, poignancy, and sensuality, Greiman hits the mark with the final witches of Mayfair. The ladies of Lavender House are actually a coven of white witches working for the crown. Faye has watched her sisters fight evil, and though timid, she feels ready for a mission. Her assignment is to uncover who killed a lord, leads her into London's social swirl and into the arms of suspect Rogan Bane. Okay. We gotta come back to this one. In Scandal They Wed. Picture, Chrissy. Picture, Chrissy. Picture. 4.5 stars. Sophie Jordan in Scandal They Wed. Jordan's series centering on young ladies of humble origins who ensnare the tons most sought after bachelor is an unadulterated winner. When her sister Linny gives birth to an illegitimate child, Evie claims the baby is her own, ruining her chances for marriage. Spencer Lockhart's brother died with Linny's name on his lips, and Spencer is determined to find her and the child. He mistakes Evie for Linny and is about to tell her of himself when her aunt shoots him. Now Evie has the enemy recuperating in her house, and she believes she must keep up the pretense that she is her sister. But when Spencer proposes marriage for the child's sake, Evie finds it difficult to refuse. Okay. In lessons in French. Laura Kinzel, Lessons in French. 4.5 stars. One of the author's most beloved authors of the genre returns with a lighthearted, joyous love story. Lady Callisto Taliaferro doesn't mind being the countryside spinster. She's turned her position to a breeding prize bulls like her beloved Herbert. Then her childhood sweetheart Trevelyan, who was sent away after they shared a compromising kiss, returns after a 9-year exile. As they begin to rebuild their affections, an old jilt returns to woo Callie. Hubert is lost in a card game, and Trevelyan plots one more adventure for Callie. They paint Hubert and steal him back. All this serves to rekindle their passion and sweep them up in a new love. Alright. And, The Marriage Ring. Kathy Maxwell. 4.5 stars. Always a strong writer who delves deeply into her character's heart, Maxwell builds a story where love and trust overcome deception and dishonor. Richard Lindstedt isn't at the theater to admire the talent or beauty of the Scottish songbird, Grace McKeon. He is there to unmask her as a blackmailer. After her father was disgraced, Grace became determined to prove him innocent of embezzlement, which led her to blackmailing Richard's family. When she needs to flee to London, Richard agrees to accompany her to Scotland to uncover the truth. Though he is her enemy, he is the only man to get through her defenses and touch her heart. And I'm sure on the way there, they fall in love. To Tempt a Saint. Alright, Chrissy, picture. Kate more. 4.5 stars. Powerful emotions, but taught mystery, dark secrets, and sensuality draw readers into Moore's unforgettable story. Courtesan Sophie Rice Jones has 3 living sins to attest to her ability to attract wealthy, titled protectors. When her youngest Kit is kidnapped under the care of his brother Xander, she refuses to believe that Kit is dead and charges Xander and his brother Will to find Kit, even if they must enter London's dark underbelly. Cleo Spencer is an heiress who must fight her guardian to get her money. While Xander needs a wife with money, an accidental meeting has them joining forces in a marriage that's supposed to be of convenience, yet is so much more. And the final one in this section, Tracy Ann Warren, Wicked Delights. I kind of like her stories. I should have looked to see if I have this one. I forgot to. But Naked Guy in the Bud. Wicked Delights of a Bridal Bed. Tracy Ann Warren, 4.5 stars. Warren's incredible talent lies not in just plotting and pace, but in creating characters like the Binds of Brainborn who leap off the pages. Lady Mallory Byron has been fortunate to live a happy life, but when her beloved is killed on the battlefield, she mourns the loss deeply. Her brother's best friend, Adam Grisham, lost Mallory once and is determined not to lose her again. He slowly brings her out of desolation, allowing friendship to grow and her belief in love to blossom. When Mallory needs comfort from her nightmares, he is there, and when they are compromised, he proposes. Okay. So the nominees for Regency set historical romance: Mary Baylow, A Secret Affair; Tessa Dare, One Dance with the Duke; Lois Greiman, Charming the Devil; Sophie Jordan, In the Scandal They Wed; Laura Kinsell, Lessons in French; Kathy Maxwell, The Marriage Ring; Kate Moore, To Tempt a Saint; and Tracy Ann Warren, Wicked Delights. And the winner was Tessa Dare, One Dance with the Duke. Okay. And our final category. Alright, our final section. Scotland set historical romance. Our first one is One Night in Scotland, Karen Hawkins. And you guys will have to let me know. I'll go through it in a minute. One Night in Scotland, 4.5 stars. Known for her quick, moving, humorous, and poignant, Hawkins begins the Hearst Amulet series with a keeper. Highly respected Egyptologist Michael Hearst is being held captive by an Egyptian. The ransom, an ancient artifact believed to have stolen generations ago. While her brother's gone, the very modern Mary Hearst must retrieve the artifact from Michael's friend Angus Hay, Earl of Earl, who is examining it. Mary is met with suspicion and subterfuge when she arrives at the castle. Angus calls her home and is essentially held prisoner in a gilded suite until his arrival. As her determination, creativity, and persona impress Angus, she is drawn to him despite his arrogance and stubbornness. And sparks fly. Alright. Monica McCarthy, The Chief. I need to do this series for this channel. When I first did this series, when I read it for me personally, I did it all via audiobook. I got addicted to the guy doing the audio. Okay. Monica McCarthy, The Chief, 4.5 stars. Acclaimed for her Scottish novels, McCarthy dramatically raises the bar with new Highland Guard novel. Using Scotland's first war for independence as the backdrop, she deftly handles a complex plot and keeps the story effortlessly on track. Naked Guy on the cover. Christina Fraser is taken to the island of Hay, where her sister is about to marry a powerful warlord to form an alliance to fight with Scotland's freedom. To protect her fragile sister, Christina offers herself in a marriage instead. Robert the Bruce realizes Scotland can throw off England's King Edward using guerrilla tactics, arranging a meeting at Islay in his first step to form a rebel army with Tor Chief MacLeod, a Norse-blooded Highlander, as its leader. Tor has vowed to restore his clan to its rightful lands and power, and no wife will drag him away from that promise. But even while training for his battle, Tor is drawn to his wife and begins to comprehend the meaning of romance and passion. Okay. I should have this book. It should be here someplace. I should have looked at. I should have looked for it. Like, there's a picture. I'm gonna lower this. We'll have to decide. The Devil Wears Plaid. Teresa Medeiros. I know I have this book someplace, but this does better. A full page picture. 42. Here we go. The Devil Wears Plaid. 4.5 stars. Few authors have Medeiros' storytelling talents. From the first page to the last, she holds you enthralled with enchanting plot. To save her father from debtor's prison, Emmeline Marlowe stands in church ready to wed the elderly head of the Hepburn clan when Jamie Sinclair rides a stallion into the abbey and lifts her up onto the saddle, stealing her away. As the Hepburn sworn enemy, Jamie is bent on using Emmeline as a pawn in his plans for revenge. But Emily is no man's chattel. She's ready to challenge her captor even if he is handsome, dashing, virile, and the man of her dreams. James' plans to end the ancient feud are nearly forgotten as he falls under the spell and becomes more captive than captor. Cute. Taming the Highland Bride. Now, if you haven't seen my videos on the Arginos, would you please go watch my videos on the Arginos and Carolyn Sparks, the Roman Dreskies? But anyways, she also has a Scottish side. Taming the Highland Bride, 4.5 stars. Sands Against demonstrates superb ability to write an exciting story full of intrigue and passion. For 6 years, Mary Stuart has contended with her ornery, irate, and continually drunken father and brothers. She vows never to wed a man who drinks, but her first meeting with her betrothed, Alex, occurs after the blacksmith got him drunk in order to pull her teeth. Mary believes he is bad as her family, and marriage will be no different from her current life. Alex, also someone who has been poisoning Alex so that he wakens every morning with a hangover. This does nothing to improve Mary's impression of him until they realize what's going on. Now hurry up! Realize what's going on! And the last book, Seduced by a Rogue, Amanda Scott. Seduced by a Rogue, Amanda Scott. I know there's a full page in here somewhere. Oh, this video is going to take 5 years to upload. 4.5 stars. Scott's wonderful book is steeped in Scottish border history and popular characters who jump off the pages and grab your attention. Raised by his older brother, Robert Maxwell is an honorable, skilled man with deep ties to his clan and unquestionable loyalty to his brother. The local sheriff, Rob, feels he has been sent into a fool's errand when his brother has him collect taxes from Lord Dunwith, since taxes are to be sent directly to the king. Rob encounters the laird's daughter, Mary, in a barley field, and there's an instant attraction. When his brother chastises Rob for returning empty-handed, Rob devises a plan. He kidnaps Mary in order to force her father to pay his taxes, but then, of course, they fall in love. So, for the Scottish set historical romance, we had Karen Hawkins, One Night in Scotland, Monica McCarthy, The Chief, Teresa Medeiros, The Devil Wears Plaid, Paula Quinn, Seduced by a Highlander, Lindsay Sands, Taming the Highland Bride, and Amanda Scott, Seduced by a Rogue. where'd it go? It was just here a second ago. And I think that this is the winner they chose, Lindsay Sands. I think she could be a winner too. These are two of my favorite authors. But this is your winner. So that is the end. I did skip a few that I had planned to do, but it just got too long. But so here we have, just to show you real quick, I didn't compare this one to next year's, or next week, should I say, to see if the categories are the same. And I did write all over this, so that really pisses me off. I may do one if it becomes a request. They have Career Achievement nominees. They have Reviewer's Choice nominees. Best Romantic Suspense we did. I did not do Best Multicultural Novels 2010. We can do that if requested later. Best Contemporary and Paranormal Romances. I picked a couple. I didn't do them all. We did a Contemporary Romance. We did I didn't do Futuristic Romances. I did Vampire Romances. I skipped. Oh, I did Paranormal, and I skipped Paranormal Fiction. I skipped that. I didn't do Urban Fantasy. I did some Mystery. I skipped some of those. Then they have Historical Romance of the Year. First Historical Romance, like a first in a season. Historical Love and Laughter was one I skipped. Innovative Historical Romance. British Isles set Historical Romance. Regency set Historical Romance. Scotland set Historical Romance, which I did. We have Historical Romantic Adventure, Sensual Historical Romance. Oh, that Kiss. I looked it up. I had it. I forget what it's the abbreviation for Knight in Shining Armor. I skipped that one. We have Romance Series, which is Harlequins. I mean, we have all of these that I just didn't do. There was just too much. Okay? But, we will do them. This was 2010. Next week we'll do 2011. Week after 2012. 2013, 2014, and 2015. There are no nominations for 16 because there is no magazine in 2017. And this video is going to take at least 15 to 20, 24 hours, may even take a couple days. I recently discovered that YouTube, you can turn the upload off and come back to it the next day when you want to go to sleep, because when it gets to be 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm tired of waiting for the video to upload. My upload speed is like a 2. But we didn't, I guess I put them back. There was a couple of books here that we didn't get to. Celeste Bradley and Mad About the Duke. These were in the historical funny ones, and I just didn't have time for those. But I hope you'll tune in next week. I hope you'll hit the like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day. My co-host is still sound asleep. Gotta go join her so we can add some pictures to this. Fingers crossed it all goes well. Have a good day.